Welcome to The Explainer. So, today we're going to talk about something that every single entrepreneur goes through, but almost no one wants to discuss, and that's loss. It's a huge part of building anything great, and honestly, how you deal with it can define everything that comes after. I mean, just think about it for a second. Every founder has that story, right? Maybe it was a whole venture that just didn't pan out, or a huge client, a multi-million-dollar one that just up and walked away. Maybe a product launch felt totally flat, or you took a financial hit that just shook you to your core. Loss is that unspoken chapter in every founder's journey. It's the story behind the success story.
So where do you even start? Well, the very first step before anything else is to just acknowledge what happened. It's so easy to try and brush it off, call it just numbers on a spreadsheet or a failed project. But these endings, they're more than that. They represent the closing of a real chapter in your professional life. And that carries some serious weight.
Okay, so to help us unpack all of this, we're going to do something a little different today. Our one and only source for this explainer is this, the Loss Oracle card. And as you're about to see, its message gives us a surprisingly practical and powerful framework for any founder who's trying to navigate a major setback.
And what's so interesting about this one card is how it breaks down this whole, complicated experience of loss into three core messages. You can almost think of them as a diagnosis of what's happening right now, and also a prescription for how to move forward.
Okay, message number one is a super clear signal. A big phase of your business, of your life, is officially over. It's not a pause, it's not a little hiccup, it's an ending. But the key is that second part, embrace newness. See, that isn't just a gentle suggestion to mourn. It's a direct command to start looking for the new doors that this ending has just unlocked.
The second message, well, it frames this whole thing as a strategic choice. Look, as a founder, what are your most valuable assets? It's your energy and your focus, right? The card is telling us that holding on to what was, the old business, the lost client, whatever, is a massive drain on those resources. So letting go isn't just an emotional thing. It's a strategic reallocation of your energy toward what's next.
And then there's the third message, which is, honestly, a pretty direct diagnosis. It's not just saying, hey, you feel sad. No, it's stating that the grief itself has become a tangible roadblock. It's a real, active obstacle sitting right in your path to future success, and you have to deal with it.
Okay, that last point, the idea that grief is a tangible obstacle, we really need to dig into that. Because in the world of business and wealth building, this isn't some fluffy emotional thing. It has a real and often a very, very high cost.
Let's think about this in practical terms. Holding on to that grief, it's like you're keeping this toxic, totally unproductive asset on your mental balance sheet. It just drains the creative energy you need to innovate. It makes you terrified of taking the calculated risks you have to take to grow. It clouds your judgment, making you see every new opportunity through the lens of your last failure. It can even make you cynical and sour potential partnerships before they even have a chance to start.
So that's the problem, right? We see the cost of just letting this thing fester. And that leads to the big question. So what do you do? What's the actual strategy for moving forward? How do you dismantle this obstacle?
And wouldn't you know it, the card gives us the answer. Letting go? Well, it's not this passive thing where you just try to forget. No, it's an active, conscious strategy. It's about making an executive decision to stop pouring your most valuable resources, your time, your focus, your energy, into a chapter that is already over.
And this lays out the choice perfectly. On the left side, holding on, you're just stuck in this feedback loop, right? Energy gets drained, decisions are based on fear, it's a dead end. But on the right, letting go, that's where things get interesting. Your energy gets redirected, decisions come from a place of learning, and you're suddenly open to a new beginning. One path keeps you chained to a past you can't change, the other one sets you free.
So here's the crucial point. When you consciously decide to let go, you're not creating a void, you're not creating an empty space. You are actively clearing the ground so that something new can grow. You can't plant a new garden if it's still full of last year's weeds, right? Same idea.
And that brings us right back around to the card's ultimate call to action: embrace newness. This isn't about sitting back and waiting for something to happen. It's about actively getting out there and seeking out new possibilities. It's about looking at the landscape and seeing the new opportunities that, ironically, your loss has now made possible. So we're going to leave you with that thought. Because really, once you've processed the loss and you've made that strategic call to let go, this is the only question left that truly matters. It totally shifts the focus from what was lost to what can now be built. The last chapter is over. So, what new chapter will you write on that blank page in front of you?